audio media can be utilized in various different ways. On individual level, if you want to hear the audio in your home or in your office, you have a desktop model. We have the audio cassette players. Now we have MP3 players. We don't have the audio cassette players now. We have some DVD players. In your home, in your office, or maybe you're traveling in a bus, in a train, in a plane. No recorders, only put the plug, direct from the server it comes and you can listen. Now you go into the plane, 500 channels, 1,000 channels. Emirates was one of the first. Previously, we used to have channels only in the business class and first class. In economy, no. Only 5 channels, that's it. Now, in economy, you have 500 channels. Emirates was the first. And now I'm told 1,000 channels, out of which half audio, half video. Traveling. You can utilize it on a group level when you're going for a function, a party, wedding party, birthday party. Not that you have to do birthday party. I'm not telling you how to do dawa. You can do dawa in things which you disagree also. You can go to a party which is not correct and yet do dawa if you have the guts to do dawa. So if you have a gathering, a family gathering, you can utilize it and utilize the largest system. And one is the public level. In public level, you're using the public address system, which again, we will be dealing even with audio in this training program to a certain level. Not in detail, but one session on public address system. And we'll be having a specialist coming, something like voice culture. Who knows what is voice culture? We had culture very close. We had culture in medicine, we have culture of media, etc. Voice culture is how you train your voice. And you might have seen, you are watching Peace TV, the solution for humanity. You heard that? Have you heard that before? Peace TV, the solution for humanity. That wasn't me. I'm not expert on voice culture. I'm not expert on background of voice. He'll be having a person here, inshallah. I've requested him. He's a very famous personality from India by the name of Harish Bhamani. He's a non-Muslim. And he happens to be a fan of me. Though I have not met him any time personally. I've spoken to him on phone. He was one of the top in India. Every sentence he speaks, he charges 10,000 rupees. At that time it was $200. Every sentence. So he was going to speak for 45 minutes, but it's going to be free, inshallah. If he charges me per sentence and if he speaks about 2,000 or 3,000 sentences, multiply by $200, khalas. So he'll be there one of the days, inshallah. But this is public speaking. That is, he is a specialist in background voice. I am not a specialist in background. He may not be able to do what I can do, and I cannot do what he can do. I can imitate. You're watching Peace TV, the solution for humanity. 10%. Otherwise, I would have been this. I'm a dai. But that's an art. It's a different ballgame altogether, which will have a little bit of audio. In public meeting of a public address system, we'll deal, inshallah, one day on public address system. There's a separate speciality of public address system. That is audio media. Then we also have on a higher level the radio broadcast stations. That's on a big level, not a public level, public at large. Talking about hundreds of thousands and millions of people. That we will not be covering in this session because time is limited. If we had the time, if we had 50 days, we would have done it. This is the second type of media called as audio. Each media has its advantage, disadvantage. Audio media has its own advantage. Print media has its own advantage. The third is the video media. Video media is what you store today on HD DVD. The VCD is gone, DVD is gone now. HD DVD is high definition DVD. DVD is digital video disc, short form. We use the word DVD, but we don't know what is DVD. It is digital video disc. CD-ROM is compact disc. ROM, CD-ROM. What is ROM? What's the full form of ROM? Read-only memory. CD-ROM. We say CD-ROM, but So video, we can store what we see normally on the lower level is HD, DVD, Blu-ray. On a high level, we're talking about high definition tape, we're talking about LTO6. We'll discuss that, inshallah, on Dawa through satellite in detail. Same thing, this can be on individual level, you can see on your own screen. Whether you were at home, or whether you're traveling in a bus, or whether in a train or a plane, you have a screen in front of you. First you had small screen, now when you go to business class, 20 inches. First class means 24 inches. Full lying flat, all at your fingertips, 1,000 channels. What do you want? Most of them haram, that's different. Few airlines show halal. Saudi Airlines, and they show even videos of dais, alhamdulillah, including myself. Now we have offer from Qatar TV that will you give your DVD? I said, I've got no copyrights, no problem. Good. So when dawah can be done in the plane, who would imagine person paying money and you're doing dawah to him? Good. Times are changing. But that's a different technique. We will deal part of it. The third level is at a group level. You're having a function, you're showing a video recording of a dai, you're showing a documentary, or showing a movie, or whatever it is on Islam, following the rules of Quran and Sunnah. On a big level, it is a satellite, which we'll discuss on satellite, inshallah, I think on the 7th day. Dawah through satellite, which wasn't done in the previous training programs. Dawah through video has its own pros and cons, benefits, speciality. A person who's a specialist on audio doesn't have to be a specialist in video. Yes, there are some people who Allah has blessed and they become specialists in many fields. Alhamdulillah. So pray to Allah to make you that person who's specialist in variety. But you can only do that when you behave like zero and then become a hero. Whenever you meet a specialist, you know he's a specialist. Like Hari Bhimani comes, oh, now he's not a Muslim. You want to do dawah with him, do, fine. But gain what you can gain from him, that's an art. Next is dawah through electronic media. And by electronic media, I mean the internet. Previously, we had the emails, then we had the web pages, then we had the bulletin, we had the blogs, and all this is getting a little bit obsolete. Some things are yet there, website is yet there. I remember when we started in 1994, we were one of the first Islamic organizations that made website, and we were very happy, and I spent months on it. And now I don't look at it. Now people say there's a mistake. I said, I don't have time because we have gone high. When you're doing wholesale, you forget the retail. We have gone on a higher level. So I said, okay, let my assistant, let my junior handle it. At that time, it was our main core. I remember books were initially our main core. So I have to check which book I'm giving to whom. The print, okay, some books when you're printing at a low quality, some books very clear, some books are a little bit not very clear. So we used to even sort out. I used to be the person sorting out which book to give where. Because that was my best activity. I have to give my time. I give my maximum time in the best activity I'm doing, in which I'm getting the best sawab. So at one time, my best was distributing books. Now we don't think. We have got containers. When people say we want to give you books to distribute, we say, Jazakallah, we don't have the time. There are people sending us containers. We said, sorry, that's not a specialty. It's good. Okay, give it to that organization. XYZ. That organization cannot clear the books only. Then we come into the picture, okay, take money, we clear it. And then we are stuck with it, and then because they've reached a level now, when we are doing wholesale, don't try and do wholesale and retail together. When you try and grab too much, then you'll have, wholesaler is wholesaler. So when we are talking about reaching millions, we forget about, yet we have print media, yet has its pros and cons both. So as far as satellite media, we'll discuss, inshallah, more in detail, again, on a larger level, on the 7th day. We were discussing electronic media. Electronic media, many of the old things have become obsolete. And now we also have social media, which wasn't there when internet started. We have the social media, we have the Twitter, we have the Facebook, we have the Instagram, we have the YouTube. Now each thing has a different technology, different expertise. Social media by itself has an expertise. What you do on the Facebook is different than what you do on the Twitter. Alhamdulillah, we are there on the Facebook. We'll deal with that on the day of dawah through social media. How to do that, inshallah. Everything speciality. So we have chosen a few of the specialities. We started it unique, became specialist, alhamdulillah, reached high levels. We'll discuss that more on the day of dawah through social media. So electronic media has advanced to a great level. At present, according to me, the biggest reach so far is the satellite media. Each media has its advantage and disadvantage. Print media is depleting, becoming less and less, yet it will never become obsolete. The usage will become less and less and less, never obsolete, because print media hard copy has its own advantage. What you have a hard copy in your library is different than what you have a soft copy. That's the reason there are libraries. For example, you go to Dubai, there is a library of Jumal Majid. He takes microfilms of all these. Authentic Quran if you have. The original copy has a different value in the Koptaki Museum, costing millions of dollars. Right? It has its value. So print media will never become obsolete. It will become less and less important. Now you have email, you have news on your mobile, you go anywhere in the washroom also, you're listening and you're hearing on your mobile, on your this message, SMS. But newspaper will never become obsolete. It will become less. And yet today, two things on which maximum money is spent is on television, media and newspaper. Yet, it may become obsolete. It will not become zero. Newspaper may become obsolete. Now, what you can do with a newspaper, you cannot do with other media. Yes, people are changing. So print media has its own speciality. What I'm training you now on the stage has nothing to do with print media. Matter can be used everywhere. Now, when you hear a matter, we'll come to know the percentage later on. You can use it anywhere. But technique of public speaking is different. Technique of print media is different. What I'll be starting from tomorrow, that you cannot apply. Print media has a different technique. How do you start? What do you do? What language you use, etc. It has its own advantage and disadvantage. Audio media has its own advantage and disadvantage. Video media has its own advantage and disadvantage. Satellite media has its own, and even the electronic media. Paper you can carry anywhere in your pocket. Fine? And you can read it whenever you want. Previously, we could not see a television anywhere. Now we can. You take out a mobile, you can see. So mobility was there in the print media, wasn't there in the other media. But now as technology is improving, this gap is reducing and the negative factors are being deleted in the other media and positive is added. Previously, who could have heard? When the television came, I remember in 70s when we were kids, television means something good. We all gathered together, say television, big television. When mobile came, so big the mobile was and so expensive. Now all smartphone, but even the kid is playing with it. You want to hear some news on and you can see it. Peace TV also is there on mobile. One of the first Islamic channels to come, but the reach is less. Different process. The first religious channel, Islamic, to come on the mobile was Peace TV, many years back. So one thing, the print media has got mobility, but it is voluminous. Now all this what I showed you, in my mobile, I can have 100 times more. What I showed you on the stage, I can have 1,000 times more material on my mobile. It depends upon the capacity. My mobile has 128 GB. iPhone 6. It can have all the translations, all the these, everything. Mobility. Yes, if it's not available, then I may open for Quran. Anyone asks Quran reference, okay, then I may open up. Otherwise, at home, I would prefer reading from my book. Better concentration, everything. So it has its advantages, disadvantages. The disadvantages are being depleted in the media of audio and in the print. You had Walkman earlier. You have got the Discman where you can move and watch. In the social media is limitation. You used to use a big computer with the CPU. Social media means you had to go to a cyber cafe. Now where is a cyber cafe? Hardly you find. Cyber cafe means you have to go to a special cafe where big machines are kept. Now everything is in your pocket. What cyber cafe you want? The full cyber cafe is in your pocket. Technology is changing. The negative factors are being reduced. But you should be updated with the technology. As a Dai, if you're a good doctor, you have to read the latest journals. What are the latest things in medicine, which I'm not doing. I'm doing what's required for Dawa, yes. I'm not doctor of body, I'm doctor of soul, alhamdulillah. So you have to be in touch with all these things. Inshallah, we'll discuss more in details on the 7th day, Dawa through satellite, and after a few days, Dawa through social media, inshallah.
La ilaha illallah, la ilaha illallah, la ilaha illallah, Muhammadun Rasulullah, Muhammadun Rasulullah. أرجو رضاك يا الله أنت الرحيم يا الله هبني عطاك يا الله أنت الكريم ومنك العطاء يا الله أنت العظيم يا الله فيك الرجاء يا الله أنت الحليم الرحمن الستار ملك الملك الغفار الوهاب المنان المتعال الرحمن الستار ملك الملك الغفار الوهاب المنان المتعال